a group of disgruntled leaders who have no vision, who have no agenda for Kenya, to incite an intergenerational divide in our country.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard in the clip that we have begun the video with, that is none other than the majority leader in parliament and the Kikuyu member of parliament, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, speaking about the opposition. The opposition is a function that currently consists of different tribal chiefs coming from different parts of the country, led by Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the former Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and also Kalonzo Musyoka, the leader of Wiper Party. Apart from Kalonzo Musyoka, we have Eugene Wamalwa, Matiang'i, and the rest. But allow me to diverge into a message that has currently been written and displayed by one lawyer and senior counsel, Ahmednassir Abdullahi, a close ally of President William Ruto and a man that has defended the Kenya Kwanza administration for a very long time. Now listen to the sentiments of one Ahmednassir Abdullahi. He says, when will Kenya be a normal country where leaders work for the electorate for 4 years and campaign for elections in just 1 year or 6 months like the old days of one-party state? Why do we have a 5-year campaign cycle? Now listen to this message from Kimani Ichung'wah.
We will not allow a group of disgruntled leaders who have no vision, who have no agenda for Kenya, to incite an intergenerational divide in our country and weaponize one generation of our young people against other Kenyans.
Now, Kimani Ichung'wah's sentiments will linger in the minds of Kenyans at this period because it is the period that led to the birth of the Gen Z revolution in the year 2024. Why am I saying that? As we speak right now, the finance bill year 2025 has been displayed out. Kenyans are taking turns in reading and trying to interpret the finance bill in their own understanding. And now Kimani Ichung'wah, it seems that he sees that Kenyans, and I mean the Gen Zs, are again in the cycle that we were last year when the anti-finance bill year 2024 campaign started, which led to the death of so many comrades in the streets of Nairobi. Now, going back to the message of lawyer Ahmednassir Abdullahi. Abdullahi asks us, when will Kenya become a normal state? When will Kenya stop being in the cycle that we have always been? That once a government is elected, it begins its cycle of of campaign for the next 3 years, for the next 4 years, instead of working for the people of the Republic of Kenya for 4 years and then campaigning for 1 year, which is the last year that they are always in power. And for these, from the year 2027, Ruto and the government should be working from the year 2022 to the year 2026. Now, in the year 2027 is the year that they are supposed to do what? To start their campaign. Now, what Ahmednassir is telling us, when Dalian Boy and Mzee Jomo Kenyatta were in power, there was no these shenanigans that we see nowadays. Because the country then was led in one-party state, Qaeda then. Are we together? Remember, the Kanu regime ruled this country from the year 1963 to the year 2002. Now, in that period, there was a lot of significant change that we saw. But Kenyans stood against the tyranny of one Daniel Moi. In the year 1992 is when Kenyans led by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and one Kenneth Matiba fought for the multi-party democracy in the Republic of Kenya. And they succeeded in the year 1992. And they were allowed to form parties in the Republic of Kenya. that became the head of the regime, of the Kanu regime. So what Ahmednassir Abdullahi is trying to tell us is that we should disregard the fight that our forefathers and even the current generation of leaders that is there, they were there fighting back in the year 1992. Fighting for what? For multi-party democracy. They fought so hard to liberate this country from the shackles of doom which were led by one Daniel Moi. And in the year 1992, the first multi-party elections was held. Then we had the Ford Kenya party led by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. The division came in when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Kenneth Matiba splitted. Kenneth Matiba running with the Ford Asili party, Jaramogi Oginga on Ford Kenya, and Mzee Mwai Kibaki, the third president of the Republic of Kenya, was then running for the presidency using the Democratic Party of Kenya, which is the DP party currently led by Justin Muturi. And Moi was running for the presidency with the KANU ticket. Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo. So what Ahmednassir Abdullahi is trying to tell us is that we need to go back to a single party state. We should do away with the democracy that led to people like Raila Amolo Odinga being jailed, to people like Koigi Wamwere being jailed, to people like Gogi wa Thiong'o being pushed out of the country to live in exile, because those are the people that fought for the multipartism. Raila Amolo Odinga, lawyers like Martha Karua, Charity Ngilu, Kiraito Morongi, Gitovu Imanyara, James Agre Bob Orengo, they stood their ground to fight for what? To fight for multipartism. And multipartism, we all agree, it has rescued us from a lot of things. And that is why everybody has a right in this republic, like the DCP party of Rigathi Gachagua being formed, yet it is an opposition party led by somebody that has a bone to chew with the president, and he is always discrediting the president and giving praises to his new party. So what Ahmednassir Abdullahi is trying to tell us is that we should embrace the single party state and go back to the year to go back before the year 1992. Now let me ask you, do you think that this country requires the democracy that we enjoy? Do you think that the constitution here 2010 gives politicians the mandate to continue being who they are instead of working for the people of the Republic of Kenya? Because this is an agenda that now seems to be propelled. And let me tell you, if we should allow a one-party state, then we should allow that, the government should allow that there must be the opposition with another party, which will always be calling the government into action with time being, but telling us that we should do away with multipartism, that we should do away we should forget the struggles and the fight and the blood that was shedded by our forefathers for the sake of us to enjoy the multi-party democracy that we enjoy today. Is like telling us we should forget the Gen Z revolution of the year 2024, because they made a point. They also made it known that they also required to be where? They required to be on the negotiation table. Are we together? So lawyer Ahmednassir Abdullahi, though he is propelling a narration that is so, I can say it's so entitled in protecting President William Ruto, but in another sense, it also gives this country the mandate to determine our way forward. Because let me ask you, as a Kenyan, since the year 2022, after William Ruto took over power, what has been going on in this country? Now we're in the year 2025. It's 4 years later. But since it's 3 years later, since William Ruto took over power, it has always been politics after politics. In 2023, the government was dealing with the wave of opposition demonstrations led by Raila Amolo Odinga. In the year 2024, the country was dealing with the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Now, in the year 2023, the country is dealing with the fights between the Rigathi Gachagua's opposition faction against William Ruto, Raila Amolo Odinga, and the broad-based government. I mean, when does these people find the time to work? Everybody in this country has been turned to a politician. Even the artists and everybody that is in the creative industry, they have been turned into activists and politicians. Wadau, do you think that it makes sense what Ahmednassir Abdullahi is petitioning, that we should go back to the single party state and leave the multipartism out of this country, because multipartism is proving to be a nightmare for us. As a country, it seems that we are unable to rule ourselves through democracy. Do you believe in what is going on? For now, that's what's up. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. But I really want to hear your comment. Do you support the multipartism, or are you for the single party state? Because it seems this petition is moving forward, and it might even find its way to the High Court of Kenya, requesting the country to go back to being a single party state. For now, that's what's up. Make sure you subscribe. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report and Janjalamjini KE.